Hey guys, what's going on? This is Tom with the Strength Agenda, and this is our warm up series for our first squat ebook, Squats by Soroka, the Srolov edition. This is a general warm up that we use in the gym that I personally use that is geared towards getting the hips, your knees, and your back ready to tackle each of these individual workouts. My suggestion is that you do this warm up right before you perform the squat session. It should take you about 10-15 minutes at most to do. We went through this twice for you. So the first angle that we have is just the head-on shot. The second angle that we have when I actually explain each movement is going to be from the side. This is a little bit sped up, so you don't have to sit here and watch me do all 10 reps of every side. But as you have probably already seen, you've gone and flipped through the ebook. Each one of these, you are performing 10 reps of each movement. We want to make sure that you take your time with this. We want to make sure that you are doing it correctly and that you're not forcing any range of motion. And what you will probably notice is that by the end of the program, the 5 weeks of doing this warm up, you're going to have a little bit of better mobility in your ankles, knees, hips. Might even have a little bit of better mobility in your upper back and your thoracic area. So the whole purpose of this is like I said, to warm the body up. We want short, controlled movements. We don't want anything jerking. We don't want you trying to blow through the 10 reps too fast. We also don't want you forcing range of motion. A lot of these movements, you can get to a certain point and it's effective. You can push past the point of the movement, but what you're starting to do is you're starting to compensate and incorporate different areas of the body in that that specific stretch is not intended for. So we want to make sure that you are using short, controlled motions. Any questions that you have, please feel free to message us and ask. We'll be more than happy to help you guys out with this. We want to make sure that this is what you need and this is helping you in accomplishing your goal, which is get a better squat, get a bigger squat. This program this warm-up routine that I came up with kind of took little bits and pieces from a bunch of different people that I've learned from. Ingrid Markham from Better Get Better Fitness. Molly Galbraith from Girls Gone Strong. She produced a video called Meathead Mobility, which a lot of these exercises are taken from. And then Joe DeFranco, for any of you guys that know DeFranco's gym, and Joe, he does a lot of work with athletes of all experience levels. And so this little warm-up routine that I came up with, it's a combination of all different movements that these people have shown me or that I've gone through with them. So hopefully it helps you out like it's helped me out. Like I said, it'll take about 10 minutes or so to get this movement done or get this warm-up done. And anything else that you guys want to do on top of that for warming up, please feel free. But this is just a quick equipment-less movement or a warm-up that I use. So the first movement is glute squeezes. And all you're doing, as you can see, both knees are at 90 degrees. One leg is on the ground, the other leg is upright. And it's just as it says, you're simply squeezing the glute. Now, we don't want to be pushing that hip out over the knee. Want to keep that hip stacked up right over the knee. And all you are simply doing is just doing 10 squeezes each side. There should be hardly any movement at all from you when you are doing this. The next movement in the series is what is called our kneeling Cossack stretch. And as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm on all fours, and then I kickstand one leg out. The heel is on the ground, toe is up in the air. And in a controlled fashion, all I am doing is we are just rocking back to that foot. If you can sit all the way back onto your foot, that is great. If you cannot, that's okay too. Want to make sure that we don't bring those hips too far forward past the foot and force range of motion that there doesn't need to be. But this is just meant to kind of warm up that groin, that inner thigh area, and get everything nice and loose and moving so you can hit those big squats. The next one up here is just glute bridges. Now, the biggest thing to note on these is you notice when I'm at full extension, there's a straight line from my shoulders to my knees. You don't want to overextend the torso and lift your chest up too much and create an unbroken line. All you're simply doing is lifting the pelvis up, squeezing, and pushing through the floor as you do this. If you need a little bit more range of motion, you can bring those feet closer to your butt, but it'll get the job done. These next one is book openers. Now, this one, you're simply going to take that leg as you saw me open the legs up, and you're going to cross one leg over, and you're going to try to keep your both shoulders on the floor when you're laying in that T position with the arms. And all you're going to do is simply, in a nice controlled motion, you're going to take that arm, Bring it over the body. Try to touch the floor on the other side. And you'll feel this one in your mid and lower back. You'll also feel this in the hips a little bit as well. But again, you want a nice controlled motion. If you need a little bit of support, you can take a med ball or a roller, a foam roller, and place it under your knee so you have a little bit of a tactile cue so that leg that is draped over can relax. All right. After the book openers, our last movement in this is our T-spine rotations. You're going to go back to all fours. You're going to place that hand near your ear, and in a neutral spine position, all you're going to try to do is roll to touch that knee to the opposite, roll that elbow and try to touch that elbow to the opposite knee, and then open up as far as you can. This one you'll feel in the upper back. This is really great for opening up that thoracic area. Again, you're doing 10 reps on each one. Again, don't force that range of motion and try to do these in a nice controlled pattern. Our second part of our warm-up series is our glute activation drills. These can be done with a hip circle from howmuchyoubench.net, a TheraBand, or a doubled up mini band. Depending on how strong you are, you can either have the band placed around the knees or down below the knee or down around your ankles. For me personally, I have an extra large hip circle and I keep it right above my knees, and it gets the job done just fine. First motion up in the drill is our penguin walks, and it's essentially like it sounds. You look like a penguin waddling. You want to make sure when we're doing these movements that we are not rotating the hips out, we're not swinging the hips open, that we're keeping the hip and the knee and toes pointed as straight forward as possible, and we're keeping that weight in the ball of the foot as we're walking. We're not getting too far back in the heel, not getting too far in our toes. And at the end of each movement, we throw in 5 air squats, just reinforcing those good squat mechanics, pushing the knees out a little bit against the band and just making sure that we are sitting straight down, standing straight up, and keeping that weight again in the balls of our feet. The second motion that we do is our side step or our side shuffle. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to start with your feet shoulder width and you're going to step to hip width. You want to make sure that that band doesn't pull your feet completely together. You want to just move, shoulder width to hip width, shoulder width to hip width. Make sure you're not leaning the shoulder into the direction that you are walking. Want to make sure you stay as balanced as possible. Try to keep the feet or the weight 50-50 between both feet. And again, like I said, at the end of each movement, throw in 5 air squats, throw in 10 air squats. You don't have to throw in any air squats. And if you have any other additional movements you'd like to add to this, that's okay too. These are just the 3 main ones that we do in the gym that get the job done, get the hips warmed up, and get them ready to go for those heavy squat sessions. The third movement in our glute activation series is monster walk. And I've been told this looks like you're trying to take a dump in the woods. And I agree with everybody. So what you're going to do is you're going to bend those knees slightly. And again, you're going to step in the ball of the foot, trying not to swing those hips, just stepping straight forward and stepping straight back. And at the end of it, we'll finish it off with another 5 air squats. And we are ready to go, ready to hit that squat session for the day.